Okay, welcome to part 2 where we're gonna learn how to now transfer and paint our tiles and transfer our designs onto our tiles. And so we have created at least 4 designs or maybe 8 on each side. So maybe you had 2 designs, one like this on one side, one like this on the other side, and you had 8 to choose from, and we created so many different ones. And so now we're just gonna decide which one is our favorite and which one we're gonna end up using, which one we wanna paint on our tile, and make up our mind. Hopefully it's not too hard of a decision, and once we choose something nice, we're gonna put the other designs away and we're gonna do it step by step. So now we have all these awesome designs. I'm gonna do this simple one here. I might do few, but let's start with this one because I already have an example right here. So first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my tile. It should be nice and clean. Take your paper towel and wipe it one more time and leave your paper towel on your desk. Also have a board. Gonna need a board like this, okay, to paint on. And you're going to need one color, okay, and you can choose to share that one color with your shoulder partner. This is red for monochromatic, and you're gonna need a white color as well. And for the white glaze, you know what this is. Just a minute. Okay. So you're gonna find white glaze like this. Shouldn't be too watery so that it doesn't take forever to dry. But somebody got some black in there. All right. There's some black. I'm gonna clean it out. There we go. Okay, so see, I already dropped some, but all we have to do is get the white glaze, paint it on top of your white tile. This is just for surface that will help us transfer our design. So we're gonna start with the white. You could also start with a black, like here. So that was a black in the background, but I'm doing white. This one is a little dry and watery, inconsistency. It's gonna take a little while to dry, but I can just pause the video and get back to you when my tile dries. I'll make another one. For example, if I wanted to start with a all red, I'm gonna clean and wipe my tile. I'll do an example what this is drying with red background. So this one is the right consistency. It should be, oopsie, it should be about this consistency, kind of milky. Not milky, pudding, like pudding. That kind of consistency. You'll see how fast this is going to actually dry. So I am going to paint a nice even coat along the whole tile. While the white one is still drying. Okay. So it has sort of like a pudding consistency. That's a little better than when it's watered down like that. and that also depends on a type of colors. Some colors are thinner than others. This one evaporated quite a bit too, because it's been sitting in non-tight container. These lids are not very tight, airtight, so they do work, but they leave quite a bit of moisture out, and so in this case it actually helps us because it's going to dry quicker. I got something on my tile. Okay, so as you can see, it's already drying. It's already drying. It's going to be like a matte consistency when this dries. We have to wait for that because we need it to be dry like this so that we can start scratching the designs into it. So I'm just gonna forward the video when this dries and get back to you. Then with this was a little bit watery, so I'm adding a second layer on my white because I want it to be more pudding-like consistency, a little bit thicker. This is taking a long time to dry. I want it pretty even. I'll go from one side to another like this. It's okay if there's these streaks in there. They will dry out pretty evenly. I can go the other side. Smooth it out just a little bit better. Like so. They will level out. So you can leave those in there to dry. Again, I'm gonna pause the video and I'll be back when it's all dry and nice. Well, it is still drying. In the meantime, I'm making a black one just so you see. When this will dry, the black color of the glaze actually will be this sort of gray. So I'm going to paint one black. I'm just going to get it away from my white so I don't make it dirty. But this is just an example of how to underpaint with black if you wanted to start with black. Actually, when you scratch into the black, because the tile is white underneath it, it gives you really awesome contrast. So it will look nice even with the black. You would be surprised. Okay. So you don't need to be scared of the black. If you like black, you can choose that one as your background. Actually, this one looks like it's gonna dry the fastest because it's the driest inside of the bin. And you want it nice, even coat. You want to make sure it's nice and same consistency throughout the whole tile. You want it to be even coat, even consistency. Like so. Okay, while we're letting this dry, what I want you to do is move this aside to dry, and then take your design and go to the other side like this with your pencil and add this charcoal transfer from the pencil on the back so that when you're drawing on top of your tile, like this, it's gonna leave lines so you can follow them. So we're gonna transfer the image while it's drying. You can prepare your background, so go over a couple of times. This will make your own transfer paper. This one is already dry, but I'll show you how that would work. So if I want to put the flower here, right, in this corner right there, I'm gonna push hard on my design on this side, and because I have my black charcoal on the back, I should be able to see the lines in there. You able to see it? A little bit. Okay. So we will probably see it better before the design is on it. That one, maybe I'll try it here one more time. So make it nice and dark, and let's pretend there's a flower right here. I'm gonna try to draw it now. I'm pushing harder. Okay. And as you can see, now I can see that flower. I transferred it. So that will make a difference when the design is complicated. If you don't want to do it this way, you can also freehand the designs. You can just draw them again on the tile, and that would be acceptable. But this is a sure way to transfer your design and know where everything should go the way you designed it. So, and you have time because this needs to dry. So why not try it? This is another technique to learn in art, is the transfer technique. Okay, so make sure it's nice and dark before you start. Okay, if there's still white areas, go over them one more time. Make sure it's nice and dark. This one is almost dry. Almost dry. There's few wet areas. I'm gonna wait to show you. And the white, not there yet. Very wet still. But the black one, it's actually drying really quick, even though it was the last one we painted. So we will wait now, and I'll be back with you when they're dry. I'll keep working on my background here so I can transfer it. Get into all the corners. I like how the tiles are drying. Ooh, really nice. Okay, see you later. I'll just be doing this. Also at home, if you want to speed up this drying process, just use a hair dryer and dry it out. And that's gonna speed up the weight quite a bit. But yes, it's drying really nicely. This one is almost there. You know when it's dry to touch. This one still has a little bit to go. And I had dirty fingers. But yeah, it's not dry yet. Okay, another idea to speed up the drying process, blow on it. Just don't spit on it, just blow, don't make it wetter. Just air. It's going in there. See, this part is completely dry and it's going to be very, very chalky. But this one I touched it and see, it wasn't dry yet. Okay, we're still waiting. Okay, I decided while we wait, let's go over some monochromatic colors and explaining a little bit of the blends. So I'm gonna show you the blue plus white is a tint, blue plus black is a shade, monochromatic. I'm gonna also show you that with red. I'm gonna show you that with blue. So this pool is pretty dry. See, I'm gonna need some water for this pool. Okay. That's a glaze that dried out a little bit, but you can renature it by adding a little bit of blue. All right, okay. So let's start with the red. So right now the red looks like this. And so we're gonna be making, for example, a flower. And this one I'm just showing you on a piece of paper, not on a tile, and just to show you the blends. I'm freehanding this, so I don't have a stencil, nothing going on. I'm just making a simple design here. And now I can mix my colors here. So for example, to make a shade, I would add black, shade is plus black, and to make tint I would make white. So I'm gonna put some black here, some white here to show you. So I can mix the white into my red to make a pink shade, and then I can add to my drawing some variation, so it's going to have a pink variation, and I can add highlights like this. This is called tint. So this is tint, and it's red plus white. Okay, so it's much lighter than just the red, so I can create some tint, some shading. Okay, with the shades I would add black, so now I have black here and red. I can mix a darker red that's gonna create a shade of the red, and now I can create some other designs with a little different shade of red. And that is monochromatic. Let's try the same with the blue. So I added a little bit of water to my blue because it was dry. But I'm gonna put some blue here, like so. I'm gonna take some white, and I'm gonna take some black. Okay. And to show you how it's drying, in the meantime, the ends are completely chalky. So that is completely dry, while the middle is still drying here. Same thing is happening to my black. I'm still waiting for it to dry, and it's nice and gray on the sides. So we're waiting. The white one takes the longest because it was very liquid, very wet. And some things fell into it. Be careful, don't let any other color fall into your white like that. I'm gonna have to remove it with my brush, re-wet it while it's drying, so that's not good. Okay, be careful not for that not to happen to you. Okay, so we have our blue, white, and black. Again, blue plus white is a tint. Blue plus black is a shade. So now I have a shade of blue. Beautiful light blue. And I can make a dark blue. Shade here. So again, tint of blue. Tint of blue is the light blue, and this is a shade of blue, which is the dark blue. And that's monochromatic shading. So now I can create a different design. For example, my flowers that are coming after first snow, they're actually white, but I'm gonna make them light blue. I show them to you in the design video. And I'm gonna add some details, the leaves right here with the shade of blue, darker shade of blue, maybe some shading here underneath it. Okay, so that's our monochromatic design, where we have designs with tints, lighter color, and when we have designs with shades of that color. Okay, but it's still blue, okay, or still red, so one color, and that's called monochromatic. Okay, if we run out of time in one class, because I am at 22 minutes 59 seconds and it's still not dry, that's okay. At least we're gonna have this prepared for the next class, and we're gonna transfer it when it's dry. I started painting another tile blue, so I have more to show you with blue background as well. I used a big brush. It actually goes really well when I paint it like this. As you can see, it's nice and smooth and doesn't have as many streaks, and I used the bigger brush. So just wanted to show you. So this one will be blue background, and just to show you how it's drying, not great yet. Sometimes it dries faster than others, but we are now at 25 minutes and it's not dry yet. The white one is not gonna be dry till next class, but this blue has a good consistency. Looks like it's gonna dry pretty quick. That's a nice consistency. I like that. Really almost no streaks. I got some white areas here. I'm gonna just move my brush like this, adding some color, and then Gently spread that over to get that color in there. From side to side. Nice and gentle. And this is a little hair from the brush. So I took it out and I just went over it one more time. If something like that happens, just gently take it out of the tile. Okay. Just came out of bath to show you. It's nearly there. This is how it's gonna look like once it's really getting there. The black is also drying, and the blue is looking like this. The blue is doing really well as well. And it was the last one I painted. So we're there, almost there, almost there. Soon we're gonna get to do it. This is how it looks like when it's almost dry. Almost there. We just have that one little streak of wetness. And for the black, we're almost there too. We just have that wet spot right here and here. For the blue, we're almost there as well. So the blue is not ready yet though. It needs to be that color. See how chalky that is compared to this? So they're the same color now, almost dry. The black one, really dry. Not the blue one though. It's gonna be that color, light blue. And the white, the white one is the hardest. Maybe don't do white because it dries really slow. Yeah, I would suggest against it. Also, a good thing is that when we scratch it, the white comes out anyway. You will have white when we scratch it. It will come through. So it's going to be a good contrast. So maybe don't do white. But we have a few more minutes. I'll be back when it's completely dry. Okay, so this is completely dry. Okay, now the black one, not yet, but very soon. But we can start. We can start with this one. Okay, so I'm gonna put these to side to keep drying. And we prepared our transfer, so our drawing is on top, and we have a dark charcoal pencil that we darkened as much as we could, and we're gonna lay it over. Okay, and start pushing hard and check it. See, I can see really clearly. I know there's a little bit of reflection, but I can see it. I can see the whole design. So I'm gonna go around the whole design to transfer my design on. See? Yeah, it's working perfect. I'll show you. See? And if it's not, if it's light, just go over it one more time. So you can go over your design, push harder, make sure that it shows nicely, okay? And make the lines thicker. That way you know which ones you went over and which ones you didn't go over. Because you will forget, which ones did I do? Which ones did I not do? And you're not gonna remember. So if you make them a little thicker, you can push a little harder. make them thicker, you will know which lines you did and which ones you didn't do. See? Okay. Flower. My pencil is dull. I'm gonna sharpen it. You can turn your design around if it's easier for you to draw. By pushing that way. So your hands might start hurting. After pushing so much, you have to give your hands a little break because your fingers are going to be feeling it. But it's working really good. It's working so great. Okay, so now, as you can see, we transferred our design. Now you're gonna get to choose which ones you're gonna scratch out. So you can use a toothpick or a pin at home or anything like a wire, anything sharp that will give you a nice indentation, okay? I'll show you. Okay, I have this little tool and just start scratching. Can you see the white underneath it? That's gonna be a really nice contrast. It's gonna give you a nice crisp white line, and you're going to scratch your design in. So your lines, instead of black, they're gonna be white. You can make them even neater here, depending how you designed it. You can blow this off the extra glaze. It's gonna be like powder. Okay, and you can scratch your design in. Okay, as you can see, it's working really well. Really nice. This is gonna be really pretty. My leaves and my flowers, very botanical. This is the best part. We waited so long to get it dry. We waited really long time. This is the fun part. And my black is almost dry, and my blue is getting there. My white still not doing really great, but these parts are dry right here. Okay. We also want a better contrast. So when I'm scratching the white, it's still gonna show, but I'm gonna definitely have to go over it with another color because white on white, it's not gonna give us the best design. But you can choose any color as long as it's monochromatic. So that means one color and tints of it with white or shades of it with black. Okay. Because after we scratch these designs, we can add those tints and those shades on top. So you're gonna see the darker reds in here, and you're gonna see the lighter reds on top, and that's all gonna add to the design. This is a nice simple one with the leaves and flowers. And it's going to be perfect for spring. And this scratch tool works really well. It works really well. I'll show you a close up. And you can see our transfer really well that we made ourselves. It's really awesome. I really love it. We are almost there. Few last designs here. Going a little quicker, but you take your time. But it does work really well. Okay. One last line here. Check that you have everything in there. Compare your design. Add something that you like. Okay, now at this time you're ready to add your shades and your tints. So you're gonna put some white on your board, and you're gonna put some little bit of red on your board, not too much, because you want it to have nice light shade as a contrast. And then mix it really well, and remember it's going to be much darker when it actually fires in the kiln. So this very light pink is going to be much darker. Now you can go over and make your pink flowers, a little lighter flowers, and go over them, and that's going to give you a different color on them so you can fill them in. Don't cover all those pretty lines you made. Just go lightly over your design where you want your accents to be. Okay, so for the flowers I'm going to go with the light white pink. Try not to color my beautiful lines. And that's for the flowers, right? And for my leaves, I'm gonna create a darker tint, shade. Remember? Using black. So a shade. Tints are with white, shades are with black. So let me create a red shade. So I need some red and black. Make it darker. You can mix it on your board like so. And those are gonna be my shades. And I'm gonna put them right around and under the leaf to accent the leaf. You can also switch to a skinnier brush if you want to do details. Switch to the skinnier brush. So I'm gonna go with this one, and I'm gonna go really carefully around the edges like that. Maybe just on one side to give it a shade, like if the light hits it from the top, and underneath each leaf there is a shade like we see in nature. It's just gonna give that extra accent. Oops, I made that line too thick. It's a little tricky. Be careful. Make the lines nice and straight. I'm putting them all on one side. So if the light source is coming this way, from here, light source is coming from here, then the shadow is going to be underneath the leaves. So I'm going to put it all on one side of my leaf. So if this is my left, I am putting it on the right side of each leaf to give it a shadow. Like so. And maybe if I'm happy with it, I can end there, or maybe I can give it a little darker border on the edges. Since I have some color left over, I can go around carefully. I can even use a bigger brush. Carefully paint my edge. So just don't go under. Make sure there's no glaze under, so it doesn't stick to the kiln shelf. Okay, so go carefully around the edge. If you want to give it a little frame, wipe some of the edges off, especially not from bottom. You don't want any on the bottom. And on this side, I still have a little left of my nice mixture of a shade, red and black. Okay, and maybe I'm gonna do those little shadow of leaves accents in the background like I did here. I think I used more black. I'll make them a lot more darker because they're a little far away in the distance, but they still will have that red in them, so it's not going to be completely black. And just pretend they're far away, somewhere in the distance, like I have here. They're all gonna change that milky color once they're done. But what's the pretty way is the white is gonna really shine bright when it's fired, because it's scratched into it and it's a very clear line. And you can make those lines thicker. If you like it a little thicker, you can actually thicken them. If you want them a little thicker, see? You can go over them one more time. You can see that well. Wherever you want it a little bit thicker, a little wider, you can add that extra white for contrast. Because the video is already 45 minutes long, I gotta end it. Hopefully it uploads to YouTube, but now it's your turn. And I hope your tile comes out amazing.